So, Laura, hi, thank you for agreeing to participate in this training. So, just so people that are watching this are clear, this video is only to be used for training purposes for people who are interested in learning the internal family systems model, right?
Okay.
And you're okay with that?
Yes, I am.
Okay, thank you. I also want to let you know, because I don't know what will come up, that if you change your mind at any point and you decide that you want to keep whatever comes up private, then we can do that.
Okay.
Right? So you're not.
Consent.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. And just so people know that this is your very first session with doing IFS work, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, good. All right, well, thanks for agreeing.
No
How you
problem.
doing? How you doing?
Okay. I'm not a video conference person, so I'm actually, really surprised by how good the image is.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, I find it works well. Okay, so what would you like some help with today?
Um, hmm. Well, I could talk a little bit about the driving instructor and the experience I had with that if you want, or
You just passed your test?
yes, I did just pass my test.
And so something came up with the driving instructor?
Yes, quite a bit, yeah.
Oh yeah, okay, you got triggered.
Um, yeah, like essentially there's a bit of a backdrop and I don't want to get caught up too much on the narrative there, but I had hired another guy and I had done 13 hours with him and he wasn't particularly professional um and he was unprofessional in the sense that he like took me out in a rental car with no brake on the other side and he didn't have the little sign on the roof with the Ministry of Transportation says that you have to have.
Hmm.
He was routinely late. He yelled. He was just disorganized.
Hmm.
So I ended up firing him, and that school was registered with the ministry.
Okay.
And then I hired a guy privately who was pretty surprised that I couldn't do some of these things that I should be able to do after 13 lessons. So he was like, I can't believe you don't know how to do emergency stops and
Oh,
all this
okay.
stuff. So he gave really good instruction, this new guy, right?
Hmm.
But then he made like a series of flirtatious comments like throughout that time that made me feel uncomfortable.
Hmm.
But I didn't really get around to saying anything until like the second last lesson.
Hmm.
So I'm curious, I guess, about why that would be. I was in a time crunch. So the test was on November 9th and I fired the other guy. And then I had like sort of like 8 days to learn how to drive a car properly because I really didn't learn how to drive with the first guy. So I'm talking parallel parking, everything,
Sure.
lane changes. So he would just make a lot of comments. And I didn't really do anything about that. Well, I did small things like to try to block him, if you like, but I
Yeah.
didn't really direct until the second last lesson. And a bunch of tears came with that. So I was very curious, like as I needed to express a boundary for myself, that comes with tears,
Yeah.
right?
Okay. Thank you. Okay, Laura, just take a breath for a moment, because this is a teaching video, I'm just going to reflect back some of what I'm hearing from
Yep.
this perspective, and then we'll go on with the work. Is that okay?
Sure. Yep.
Thank you. So as you know, because I know you know a little bit about it, IFS is about working with the different parts of you, right? So my job as an IFS therapist is to be a parts detector. So can I get your permission to be a parts detector for your system?
Yes. Yeah.
All right, okay, good. So what I notice is you've got your narrative part, or your storyteller, I think of it as, that's telling this story, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
trying to help us to get to some of the parts that it's referencing in the story.
Yes. Correct.
Um, so what I notice in terms of your parts is um, the part of you, when the storyteller was saying, and I didn't do anything until the second to last lesson,
Yes.
there was a part of you that gave a little chuckle at that point. You kind of, so we need to notice that, because
Mm.
often those chuckling parts are responding to another part which has a different kind of energy.
Well, it's because I have done this before in the past where I've let people sort of step into my boundaries.
Okay.
Um, So I don't know if that chuckle is that, like some recognition that I've been here before.
Yeah,
Like where
it may be.
people have, like I haven't put the boundary up fast enough.
Got it.
You know?
Yeah. So it may be, and then what the chuckle tends to do is, as it were, dilute some of the information coming from the part that's talking about I didn't put the boundary up fast enough. Because what you're saying isn't funny.
Maybe embarrassment. Yeah.
Yeah, but the part sort of brings that lightness to it. So I want you to notice that. It's maybe one of your protectors.
Okay.
And then a couple of parts came up. I heard a part saying, I didn't do anything. And then another part said, well, I did small things, right? So those are two different parts that have a commentary on what happened. Just for you to notice that they have those two different parts have a different understanding and perspective. And then, of course, when you did say something that came with tears, and putting that boundary up came with tears. Right? So that sounds like a good part to get to know. And I hear you talking about your curiosity.
Yes.
So maybe we could explore the part that what I heard was boundaries have to come with tears or something like that. Is that right?
Well, maybe not always, but sometimes.
That time.
Right? And it's my right to say I don't want these comments being made to me. I mean, I'm paying him money, but so why does it get so emotional on something that is my right, So that's where the curiosity comes from.
Got it. Yeah. So this part is very clear, right? It's my right to not have to endure sexist comments ever, or certainly with the service that I'm paying for. So yeah,
and it was really hard, right, Derek? Because you're learning to drive. You're already kind of on the edge of hypoarousal, like you're on the edge of that. And you're in the city of Toronto, and then there's this crap going on the side,
right? And
it just was really anxiety. Like, it was just like I did not want to have to deal with that. And for some reason, like his needs were, like somehow I was protecting his ego. Like what? Like I'm paying the money, right?
Got it.
So, yeah.
All right. So let's see if we can go in and see where that curiosity can take you. So. Yeah. Take a moment to notice that part that says, it's my right to not have to endure this. It's got very strong energy. So see if you can let that part know. This might sound strange, but see if you can let that part of you know that you hear it, that you get it. Right? It's got a very strong presence. So see if you can find that part in or around your body, just to start with. One that says, it's my right to not have to endure this.
Yeah, I know a little bit about this. So that part would be sort of like in my throat often, like this like vocal like I feel my body get a little bit, I'm a sensory motor therapist, right? So I feel my body get stronger, I go up, and I'm like, I have a right?
Yes. So that's where you notice the part is in your throat?
Yeah.
Okay, so just take a moment to acknowledge it. Right? Yeah. It's a great part to have, well, they're all great parts. And then see if it's okay now to come back to the moment, right, when there was the pressure, the anxiety, and you did, or perhaps just before you did, make the statement, whatever statement you made, when the tears came and the part that's connected to all that. So see if you can locate that part in or around your body, the part that's connected to the tears. Sometimes it helps to close your eyes, not always necessary, but
it's still here as well.
Okay.
I'm going to move fast in my body because of the sensory motor and the meditation. So it's still here.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Okay. So there's,
So does that part of you that you're focusing in on now, the one that was connected to the tears, does it have a sense that you're there? Does it know you're listening to it?
Yeah, it's always like a gripping feeling in my throat, like it's emotional.
Good.
Right?
Does it know you're listening to it? Does it know you're there?
Oh yeah.
Okay, good. So make sure, as you're listening to it, Laura, make sure that it knows who you are and, importantly, how old you are. Just take a moment and say, you're there because it's got your attention, and you get that it's holding some distress, right? And I heard you say it's always gripping, so you might want to ask this part of you, how long has it been around?
I think that, because I've done some work on this before, I think about 8. It's definitely a younger part.
Yeah. So I want you to notice that your thinking part's coming up to help you do the work, right? I've done some work on this before. I think it's maybe 8. That's a thinking part.
Yeah.
So I want you to see if your thinking part can just pull back for a moment. Yeah. Is that what it says? That's great.
That part keeps me alive.
Okay, so take a moment then to appreciate it. To appreciate it, because it's a very strong part.
Yes.
And its statement is it keeps you alive. So that's got an amazing role in your system.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let it know how much you appreciate it, your thinking part.
I smiled because I really like that part.
Yeah, I could tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great part.
Yeah.
Let it feel that warmth coming from you. Let it feel how much you like it. It's great. Yeah,
Yeah, I
great.
really
Now, would it be okay if I spoke to that thinking part for a moment?
yes, you can try.
What's what is the try? What does that mean?
Because it is so like willful. It's a
Mhm.
very willful you can try. And we'll go like what I mean is I'm going to be open, but it's like a very strong part. So if you're gonna ask it to leave, see
I'm
if it
not.
doesn't want to leave. Okay,
I'm not
you
going to ask
go.
you to do. Yeah, yeah. Um, so I'm going to talk to it directly. So here's what I want you to hear. I
Okay.
get, I get how important you are. I get how you've helped Laura stay alive, and I get that you have a really important role in the system. And I want you to know that I get all of that. Okay. And I want you to know how I get how important you are. Because you're smart, because you're a thinking part. I also want you to hear what I'm proposing and see what you think about it. Okay. Is that okay?
Yep.
Okay. So there's Laura, and then there's you, and you do a lot of the work with all the thinking, right?
Mhm.
And you get how much she appreciates you, right?
Mhm.
When we're listening to other parts, what the other parts need is to be heard,
Mhm.
and they want to be heard by Laura as well. They
Mhm.
also want to know that she's there. Some of the parts are holding distress, and if they can know that she can listen to them and bring her curiosity to them, which she was talking about earlier, then they're going to be able to give her some information. But those parts don't necessarily want or need to be thought about. They just want to be heard.
Mhm.
Right? And if you'd be willing to soften back and just sort of be on the sidelines just for a moment and allow Laura to connect with them, then she
Mhm.
can hear what information they have for them. That's all I'm
Okay.
suggesting. Right? Does that sound like it's okay?
Mhm.
Great.
Yeah, I
Okay.
understand. I understand. Like, I understand
Great. Great.
because
So
that's a dominant part.
yeah, and it's welcome to be. Most of the time
Yeah.
in your world, it's brilliant. It's brilliant, and it just gets you. It takes you through your life, as it says. But
Yeah,
it's
but you know what you said about there's something really key with what you said that I think is helpful is that like um what did you say? It was really good. You said sometimes the other parts just need to be heard,
yeah,
right? So this part I think is sort of dominant sometimes over those other parts.
makes
So
sense.
while it functions to keep me alive or whatever or run the show, like it does probably like overshadow some of these other parts, right?
Yeah, it
So I
can
would
do.
think
Yeah.
to put it aside or try to just have it watching, right? Listening.
If it agrees to, if it's okay for it to do that,
Yeah,
it sounds like it did. Great. So thank you for that because it's showing a lot of trust in you and trust in
right.
what I'm suggesting. So I wanted to hear my appreciation for it as well for doing that.
Yeah.
And it
This
can
part thinks that you're legitimate, so it's gonna listen.
great. It can also come back in any time. If it's got a concern, it can come back in any time and let
Okay.
you know. Okay.
Okay. I'm just gonna
Great.
make myself a bit more comfortable on the couch here.
Sure. Good plan. Okay. So with the permission of your thinking part, see if it's okay to come to this part again now that you know is younger, right? That was talking about the distress that it's holding, the tears around that boundary. Bring your attention to it now. Let it know that you're there. And just take a moment to see how you feel towards this part of you that's been holding this distress.
Um, okay. Like it's always the same. It just like it's very young. There's a lot of emotion that goes with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So this sounds like
Needs to
how,
be sort of sorry. but it's like you know, it needs to be hugged.
Mm-hmm.
Like that part.
Yeah. What's the smile about there as you say that? Needs to be hugged, and then that little smile or chuckle or whatever.
Because it's like a little bit embarrassing or fragile or whatever, but like this feels like a very young, like this sensation here, and
yeah,
feels very young, right? Like
yes, got it. Okay.
So maybe embarrassment.
Yes, maybe. So if that part with the feeling of embarrassment,
Mm-hmm.
that one, no, it doesn't have to be here. Right? You're here, and this other part that's holding the emotions is here. So just let the embarrassed part know if it like it could go somewhere else in the system. It could go into a waiting room. It could go to a park. It could put on headphones and watch a movie. Okay, so just let it know that. It doesn't have to be there if it's finding this uncomfortable.
That's tough, Derek.
Okay, what's making it tough?
Because that embarrassment part is like pretty big. So I'm trying to send it off to a waiting room or whatever, but
okay, you know what? Let your trying part know it doesn't have to do that. What we're letting the embarrassed part know is if it's uncomfortable being here with you in the presence of this part with big feelings, it actually doesn't need to be here. Or if it feels like it wants to be here, it could watch through a protected bubble or be in a room with a window so that it doesn't have to feel so directly impacted by it all.
Mm-hmm.
Just want to make sure that it's taken care of.
Right.
So see how it feels about that possibility.
The
embarrassed
part is like allowed to stay in a bubble watching?
If it wants, yeah.
Okay.
Great.
Okay.
Good. Okay, good.
It's on a recliner.
Good for it. All right.
With its feet up.
It got the message. Good. So come back to this one that holds a lot of emotion. It's a very young one that needs to be hugged, right? And I heard you saying, you know, it's always the same. It's very young, lots of emotion, and it needs to be hugged. As you come back to it, see how you feel towards it now.
I get tired when I go into this part.
Okay.
I get a physical response.
Do you know if the tiredness is coming from this part or from another part? What does it feel like?
I don't know. It's a real bodily felt sense when I just get tired whenever I have to go there.
Yeah, I could hear it. Yeah. So it looks like it's another part. It doesn't sound like it's coming from the part with all the emotions itself. It looks like another part that's tired of going there. Is that correct?
Sure.
All right. So let this tired part know it doesn't need to be around either. It could also be on the sidelines if it would like. It doesn't have to take on the work, especially if it finds it fatiguing. Just invite it to soften back.
That's so hard because it's really in the body, but I'll try.
Yeah, I get that it's in the body. Just ask its energy in the body to pull back a little bit. It doesn't need to be here. It not like front and center. It can be like the embarrassed part. It can just pull back a little bit energetically. Yeah.
Okay, I'll try.
Got it.
It just gets really heavy, but yeah, it gets very heavy.
It's very heavy. See if it has any kind of concern about you listening into this part with all the emotions. If it has a concern, we'll address the concern for sure.
You know, I always do it from that sensory motor perspective, but if it's a cognitive thing, it would be like, oh, you might collapse.
Okay, does that concern make sense to you?
Yes, because in the body, when I go that way, it's like a dropping. So the cognition with that would be like, if you go there, you know, you might not get back up.
Okay, well that makes sense, right? No wonder it's got a concern about softening back if you might never get back up again. Good.
I'm gonna always get back up. There's my smart part.
There you go. Good catch. Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, I think that might be what happens there.
Okay. So let me talk a little bit about the part's concern and how I understand it, and we'll see if this makes sense to it. Is that okay?
Okay.
Okay, good.
Okay.
So if you've got a young part with lots of emotion, chances are at some point in your life, probably when you were little, it did take you over and you might have collapsed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I used to be in tears and I was like inconsolable.
Okay. Oh,
Like,
so,
and sometimes I wasn't consoled.
oh, okay. Well, it sounds like that might be the same part then, because it's talking about needing a hug, right? So,
Like I would be like like
uh-huh.
mhm.
So big
Like I would
energy.
be overwhelmed by like emotion, right?
Yeah.
And like tears and pink faced and blonde haired and yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of distress. I get it. I get it. So this part that's heavy in the body and heavy about going there and is concerned about overwhelm, let it know this.
Mm-hmm.
First, thank it for letting us know about its concern, because that's really important. That's really good information to have. And its concern is based on what it already knows to be true. It's happened in the past. It doesn't want it to happen again, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the thing about overwhelm is, if you can let this young part know that you're there, and that it's very important that it does not overwhelm you, because then it means you cannot stay with it, because it'll bring all your protectors up. And that it does not need to overwhelm you to get your attention. Even if it's feeling overwhelmed, you can kind of hold it and get to know it, and it doesn't need to completely take you over for you to get,
Right.
oh, you're overwhelmed, right?
Yeah, and I can like also like I have my feet planted on the ground and I can go back into my body to just remind me that like, you know, that I'm here.
That you're you,
Right?
yeah, great, yeah. So it's also in the part's best interest, once it knows that, to not flood you, because you're already there with it. So with all of that, see how this tired part feels now about the possibility of pulling back and allowing you to get to know this one with the big feelings.
It's not only tired, it's scared as well.
Okay. What does it need to let you know about scared?
That I'm a big girl. That I'm big. And that I can be an adult.
Sorry, that doesn't sound like what it's scared about. What's it letting you know about being scared?
Oh, sorry. I thought you said, what do I need to tell it? Ask again. Sorry.
It let you know it's not just tired, it's scared. I'm wondering.
Yeah.
I'm wondering what the scared's connected to. What that's about.
I don't fully know.
Just ask it. Because let it know you're not clear. What's the scared about for this one?
I'm not going to be heard.
Okay. Now, is it scared that it's not going to be heard, or that that younger part is not going to be heard? Do you know? Just ask it.
I don't know.
Just ask. It'll know. Someone's not going to be heard. It's either going to be this part or it's going to be that little part that it's protecting.
Getting a real gripping again.
Okay, then bring your attention to that. Bring your attention to the gripping.
Okay.
What was that? What was that? Okay, that sounded like a part.
Yeah. Yes. Because yeah. Okay. Just one sec.
Yeah.
Shit. Sorry.
That's all right. I might edit out your shit.
Keep it in. Makes it real.
Okay.
Okay. Refocus me. Sorry.
Just come back. So I'd asked you if the tired part was willing to soften back with the reassurance that you would not be overwhelmed. And it heard that, and then it also let you know that it was scared. when I asked you to get some more information about the scariness, there was something about not going to be heard. And then when
And I'm not sure, like, I'm not sure that I won't, like, cry or whatever.
okay.
So just saying that.
Yeah, and what's the concern? If you were to cry, what's the concern about that?
That we're making a video.
Uh-huh.
I'm not afraid to cry in front of you, because I've known you for a while, but yeah, just the video.
Yeah, just crying in front of random strangers that might be watching it. Yeah, I get that. Yeah. So Laura, a couple of things. One, like I said, we could just have this as a session. It doesn't have to be a teaching video, so we can just throw that out and keep working with your parts. It's fine.
Yeah.
And two, you can let the part know it's got tears, it's got big feelings, and it wants to let you know about them. And in letting you know, it's not going to overwhelm you, but there might be some tears coming through you. But if that feels like too much, or if that's going to set off parts that have a concern, then ask it to pull its energy back a little bit so you can keep it in focus, but it doesn't need to take over your body in that way.
You know, like, what comes to mind, there's a lot of parts up and running at the moment here.
Sure.
Is that I'm it's funny, like, just like that younger part of being like, it's bad to be emotional, or it's embarrassing.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, so it's giving you information about itself. Right? These are some of the beliefs it's taken on. It's bad to be emotional. It's embarrassing to be emotional, which is often connected to being shamed for being emotional or being.
Oh yeah, oh, trust me, I know about that.
Yeah. Okay. So this part's holding that information too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Good. So take a moment. I know you got a lot of parts around. Ask the others to just soften back. We can only focus on one at a time. Let this one know that you get that it's holding that, right? It's bad to be emotional. It's embarrassing. I might be shamed. And make sure, Laura, that it knows who you are. There is no shame coming from you. There is no judgment coming from you. So just make sure that you've got the connection with it so it knows that.
Then that would be that, like, you know, that would be that part that we talked about in the beginning. There's the part that's like has this sort of runs the show, and my cognitive part, and the part that says it's okay to say no or just put a boundary up. So like, it is okay. It's okay if I am emotional. That's okay, right? There's nothing wrong with that.
It looks like you got a whole bunch of parts just came in at once, so I just want you to ask them to pull back again, right? Just ask them to soften back so that you can take a breath, right? Yeah. All we're doing is
I don't think this little part wants to be seen.
That's fine. Let's respect that then. All we're doing is inviting you to get to know this younger part. It sounds like she's got some concerns about, you know, it's bad to be emotional, and I might be shamed if I'm emotional, and I don't want to be seen because there's a risk there, right? At the same time, it looks like she's been trying to get your attention because she came up with the driving instructor.
Yeah, she comes up, that little part comes up more in the last little while.
Yeah, well, my guess is that's because she's holding some distress and she would prefer not to hold it if she didn't have to. Yeah. So in order to help her to not have to hold it, it's important to get to know her. In order to get to know her, it's really important that she knows that it's you, not your thinking part, not a judgmental part, not somebody else, you.
Can you say that sentence again?
Yes. In order for her to be known and for it to be safe for her to be known, it's really important that she knows it's you that's listening, right? Not a different part, not a different person, but you. Mm-hmm. And as I said, when you're listening to her, there is no judgment, there is no criticism.
But I'm not trying to be a difficult student, right? But what is me? Like, if there's this like part here and this other part here, then like, I think I know what I am, but I mean, like,
you're not being a difficult student, and the question makes absolute sense, right?
Yeah.
So, when I'm talking about you in relation to your parts, excuse me.
That's what I want to know what you mean. Yeah.
I'm holding you at your best, basically. So in this model, we call it yourself. We call it yourself, self energy. But it's when you're listening to your parts and you're curious, like you started
Okay,
out.
then okay, got it.
Yeah. I'll add a little bit more because it's a teaching video. Is that okay?
Yeah.
At the risk of being redundant. Curious if you can bring some compassion to the part that's holding some distress, if you can bring appreciation to the parts of you that are willing to soften back and allow you to connect. If you're wanting to connect, that's the you I'm talking about.
Okay. I think as soon as you said curiosity, then that's
Then you're back in the saddle.
yeah.
Yeah, great.
So yeah.
Okay, good. So see if it's okay now to bring your curiosity to this little one. She's giving you information. You know, it's bad to be emotional. It's not okay to be seen. She's been judged in the past. She really wants a hug. Just see if you can come back to her. Let her know you're there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and just see how you feel towards her now.
Well, sometimes I feel bad for her.
Yeah. Edit. Yeah, how about now? Are you feeling badly for her right now?
Sometimes I feel bad about it. Yeah.
No, I get that. I'm wondering if right now, as you're there with her, are you feeling badly for her?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sometimes, yeah.
How about right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let her know that. Just this is all you need to do now. You've got the connection with her. Let her know you feel badly for her. Let her know that you're there. See what else she needs to let you know about herself and ask her to not overwhelm you. Let her know that you know she's got big feelings. What does she need you to know? What's going on in her life there?
What was the last question?
What's going on for her?
That that nobody's around.
Okay. Yeah.
And she, there's a lot of figuring things out on her own, right? So she gets those, she had to figure out many, many big emotions and things that were beyond her capacity, right? So
Okay.
so that's why I feel emotion in my throat and compassion, because I'm this was too much.
It is too much for a little girl. Yeah. Let her know that you get that it feels like it's too much. Good. About how young does she feel in this presentation right now? What's your sense?
I have an image of her, Derek. So I'm 8.
She's 8?
And I'm in the Paddable, the old house in Newtonville.
Uh-huh.
I'm in my bedroom, and
Going to be helpful if you can speak for her. You know, she's 8, she's in her bedroom. It just helps keep the separation clear.
I guess if I'm her right at that part, you mean?
You're speaking for her. So she's showing me the bedroom. She's telling me she's 8. It just helps be clear.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So.
Yeah. How come she's so alone? What's going on? How come there's nobody around? Just ask her. I know you'll have a number of parts that want to respond to that, but ask her.
Yeah, I'm looking at you
Yeah, but how does she make sense of it? What's going on for her?
Oh, Derek. She's alone.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's hard for her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Let her know you get that. And I can see the big feelings. Just a reminder, it's important not to overwhelm you, but let her know you get it. It's horrible for her to be alone there with all this stuff to figure out that she can't figure out because it feels like it's too much. Is that correct? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just stay with her. Just stay with her. There's nothing else you need to do right now. Stay with her. Stay open to what she needs you to know. And let her know you get it. This is big stuff.
Embarrassing, Derek.
Yeah. So ask your embarrassed part. Just remind it can go back into that bubble. Right? It doesn't have to be as close to this energy. Wait for it to do that.
You know what? She's very scared a lot.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. What kind of scared? Is it somebody might come and hurt her, or there might be a boogeyman, or just ask her more information about that. You're doing great, Laura. Just keep listening. Just go slow. Ask her to not overwhelm you. Let her know you get this is big stuff. She's very scared. So she's little. She's all by herself.
Oh, Derek, this is like the core of all the stuff I'm doing right now.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm really glad that you're able to do this with her.
Like I'm working very deeply on this
Yeah.
situation right now. The
I
thing
can.
is that it comes up like in funny places, like in the car, and
Well, my guess is, Laura, that's because she's been trying to get your attention a lot, and she has your attention now. So let's.
but like I've been seeing this part more in the other work that I do.
Good, good.
Oh, it's what I'm working really hard on.
Yeah.
She was very like, very scared.
Well, hang on a sec. Hang on a second. It looks like you just jumped into storyteller because you're using the past tense. She was very scared. Ask your storyteller to pull back so you can just stay with her directly. What has she been holding for you all this time? She's holding a lot of distress. You want to be able to hear that so we can help her maybe to release it. But
She's
yeah,
very,
go on.
she is alone and afraid, right?
Yes,
Like there's nobody there.
right.
There's bad things that happen with like her caregivers, right? So she's in a fear state a lot, Derek. Like she's
I've got it. Okay, so here's a suggestion. See how this lands on her, right? If she would like, now that you've got her, now that you're in touch with her in that internal world, we can bring her somewhere else in your internal world. She doesn't have to be stuck alone in her bedroom. You could take her to an environment where she's going to feel more comfortable. You could tuck her into your heart. You could take her to a room that she likes. You could take her to a park or something. But she
there
doesn't.
wasn't anywhere
I
really.
understand that. I understand that. But there is now. So if it feels right for her, we could take her somewhere else in your internal world. Or if she feels like
Okay, okay, I got somewhere.
yeah, good, take her there. Just take the time to take her there. Yeah? Where are you? Where is she?
Well, I'm working really closely with Catherine, right? My sensory motor therapist, and she's with her.
She likes her, she trusts her.
Oh my God.
Great. Okay, good. So now that she's with Catherine, see what else she needs to let you know about what it's been like to be so alone, to be so scared, or maybe some of
I'm
the.
not like, well, I'm not, she's like, she doesn't have to be like totally alone.
No, she doesn't. Yeah,
Because Catherine like would hug me, so
yeah. I'm glad she's there with Catherine. Good. So Laura, see if there's more she needs to let you know about the bad things that happened or about
like
being
what?
alone. Hmm?
Like what?
Ask her. If she's talking about bad things happened with the caregivers, she may need to let you know what they were.
I know what they are.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah. So just check with her to see when you say I know what they are. Ask her if she feels like you really get it. You really get those bad things and what it was like for those to happen to her. Just ask her.
Yeah, I really okay.
Yeah.
It's really fucking scary.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I'm picking that up. All right. I want you to ask her, Laura, if she feels like you get how fucking scary it was. Does she feel like you get that? You truly get that?
Hmm. Hmm.
She says she feels like you do.
It was very scary.
Yeah.
Myself knows that it was very scary for her.
Yeah, I know.
But she's quite there.
Yes.
This would take more than one session, Derek.
Yeah, got it. Yeah.
Like, because she was, so like I'm seeing two parts at once, okay?
Okay.
So I see her is scared.
Yes.
And I know that she was in a lot of fear.
Yeah.
Like, so there's two there, right? Like I really feel like they're almost, running side by side.
Yeah. So it might be two aspects of the same part, but so what I'm hearing is there's the scared part. What's the other part?
Asking my little part or my bigger part?
I'm not clear on what you're telling me. You said there's two parts, and I heard you name the one that's scared. I don't know what.
Like meaning like right now when we're doing this, I see her
right
there, and then I see me there. Like I see, like it's like I'm, like I know that I'm here.
Yeah.
But like I also, like I see the adult me and the little me together kind of thing, and I don't know how else to explain it. Like,
no, I got it. I know what that is now.
Like I don't think that she's gone yet, if you know what I mean.
She's
like,
not gone. No.
Yeah, like it's not like I totally trust that. Like when I'm talking about this situation about being afraid, like I don't fully trust. Like I'm not fully adult when we're talking about it. Like I'm little when I'm talking about it.
I get that, Laura. So that's what happens when the little part blends with you, right? When she begins to blend with your system. So what I want to do, so what I want to do.
Yeah, psychoeducation helps me, like, cause yes, like she's blended in there, and trying to like divorce her away from me is like, it was just all I keep wanting to say to you is like, dude, it was really scary.
Yeah.
Like, so you're like so I put her in Catherine's arms and I do all that, but like it was scary.
Laura, I get that. I do. With this way of healing, she needs to be witnessed by you fully, and then we can help her to release that fear.
It's hard because I get like a fear response when I see her, so my body has like a bit of a freeze in the chest.
Yeah.
And that's the difficult part. It's like if I go back into that place in my bedroom and so like there were moments where I wasn't like breathing, like
where she wasn't.
Yes.
Yeah, good.
She wasn't
yeah, so
well done.
Yes, and notice the shift in your body when you get clarity that it's her that's holding all that, right?
Right. Yes. Yeah.
So that's why it's not about divorcing her from you, and it's not about pushing her away. It's none of that. What it's all about is actually bringing her more clearly into focus, like a camera lens. If she blends with you, then you're in her experience. And
of course. And she's running the show, right? Yeah.
That's right. But you ask her to pull the energy back a bit so that you can stay focused with her. Just like a camera, if someone's too close to the lens, you can't see them, right? You need to be able to see her. So it's not a rejecting, pushing away energy. It's an invitation to come into focus, to pull the energy back a little so that she can know that you're there. She can know you're present. She can feel you.
And she has a sensory experience to her. Like, it's like that embarrassment feeling, or that like always hot and it's like hot and crying. She's crying and alone, and she's frustrated and she's scared, and there's like nobody's coming.
Got it. And I just wanted to check, does she know that you're still listening to her as she shares this with you?
Yeah.
Great. How are you feeling towards her now?
I feel bad for her.
Yeah, just let her know that again. You're still there, right? You're feeling badly for her. She's holding way too much, way more than any kid should ever have to hold. So
It's fucked. You know, it's fucked up.
it is. And that's why we're here, so that we can help her to no longer have to carry that distress from that. And I hear you say it's going to take more than one session. I get that. And I also know that you're well supported in your therapeutic work. So the more information you have about her, the more,
Yeah.
the more you're going to be able to help her out, right?
Like in my mind now, like I am walking towards her, and you know, like I'm like if it makes me feel better to envision like hugging her.
Now, are you hugging her, or are you seeing yourself hugging her?
I see myself like hugging her like in my bedroom.
Yeah, got it. So that's another part of you that's hugging her. So ask that part to pull back so that you can hug her if she would like that. Check to see if she'd like that. And then just move into her directly if she would like that. So you can hug her. You don't need another part to do
Hmm.
that. See if that's okay to do.
Sometimes I get confused by all these parts that you're talking about.
I hear that. And I also...
Like I feel like it's a really big deal for me that I can see her
Yeah.
there and I'm there.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know if I can remove, like, that's like I'm actually in the same room, so
That's great.
it is kind of because I'm fully adult.
It's great. That's great. Yeah. So let the confused part know you hear it, and it can pull back and just be there with her. Just be present to her. You don't need to do anything else. It is a big deal. It's great you've got this connection with her, and it's great that she feels seen by you. It's really important because then she doesn't have to be so alone.
Yeah, that's exactly that's exactly the point. Yeah.
Yeah, good. So then just stay with her. Just stay with her.
She's pretty cute.
Yeah, I'm sure she is.
Oh, she's really kind of tough too.
Good for her. Well, she kind of had to be by the sound of it, right? She had to find some tough parts. Yeah. I don't know you get that.
I get mad too, you know, like mad.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Part of you gets angry about what happened. Is that right? Yeah. No wonder. That makes sense. Does a part of her get angry too, or does she just hold the?
She's just like what? Like it's not even. It's just like it's so much. She's just scared, you know. Like she's pretty little, Derek.
Yeah, and I get that. She also sounds kind of bewildered. Like, what's going? You know, like, is that right?
Bewildered or like, what's gonna happen next?
Oh, okay. So that's part of the fear, right? Yeah, she's scared. She's alone. She doesn't know what's going to happen next. Got it. Okay.
And just like it's like, you know, like she tries to stay awake to somehow if she stays awake, maybe she can stop these bad things from happening.
Okay. So that sounds like one of her little protectors, right? It has a strategy. If I stay awake, you know, maybe I'll be safer.
Able to stop something, like stop them from fighting or whatever.
Okay. Okay, let that part of her.
And then she really would like stay awake, you know. She'd stay awake like really late, like
Yeah.
for like I don't know, like I think like a 7 or 8-year-old or 9-year-old staying awake till like 4 a.m., you know.
The part of her that came up with that strategy, stay awake to try and make it safer, let that part of her know that you appreciate that, you get that strategy, right?
Right.
Yeah. Nothing else it could do really. So it's trying to come up with some way to not have to feel so scared.
Yeah, or like maybe she could stop it.
Right.
Yeah, not feel so scared. Yeah, I mean, but also like, it's fucking chaos.
Yeah. Yeah.
Try to tell her like that she doesn't need to stay awake because that part at night is around now, right?
Is it keeping you awake?
That's why I'm doing some of the work, because at night I get a really bodily felt alertness
Yeah. Yeah.
right when you should be dropping into sleep, right when
Sure.
I feel the sleepiness, the sleep coming through and on, and then
Yeah.
I have this response where I'm up, and it's okay. Like, I just want to say to her, like, it's okay. You can go to sleep.
Well, let me help you with that, Laura, just for a moment, because it may not feel like it's okay for her. She may feel like she still has to be alert. So, as you're listening to her, I want you to make sure that she knows that it's 2017. I want you to update her. 2017. The system is no longer a 7 or 8-year-old system. You're around. The fighting is not around. The caregivers are not around. And just see how this part responds to that information. It may already know it, but it might be new information.
But see, I get images, Derek. So the image I get is her like stepping off the bed and coming inside of me. So that's, I get it, visuals.
Does that feel okay?
Fuck, if it works, yeah. Like if I.
Well, it sounds like as you were updating it, this part moved into your body in a way that
Yeah.
it looked like it feels like safer in there. Is that right?
Or more like that little me can go inside of here, and like I am running the show.
Okay, great. Okay, so Laura, that's
Like I'm running. It
yeah.
is 2017.
You are running the show. Good. So what I want you to, that's great. What I want you to, one of the things I want you to take from this, because we're going to be winding down soon, is
Yeah.
when the protected part, the vigilant one, the stay awake one, when it's present as you're just drifting off to sleep,
Mm-hmm.
now that you know where it came from and what it's about and what its intent is and how it believes that it's still stuck way back when, if you can let it know, hey, I've got this,
Yeah.
you know, and it's 2017, and show it.
Yes.
Yeah. And remind it that you're here and all of that, like you just did. If you can remind it of that, it may be able to pull its energy back and you may be able to get to sleep.
Yeah.
All right. So that's one piece. Another piece, as you said, so this is a protected part connected to the one that's so scared, so alone, and so frightened. Right. So that one that's so scared and alone and frightened, I know you're going to continue to do work with, because as you said, you're working with Catherine, right?
Yeah, and it's a sensory motor. Like I sometimes get a fear, like it's like a sensory memory. So
Yeah.
there's sometimes with people with trauma past, the memory is in the body, right? So we're doing some actual processing. So
Yeah.
it is a combination of talking to it.
Right.
Like, it's 2017, you don't have to be on alert. And then it's some of this, like I was in a fear state quite a bit at night. So
okay. So it sounds like you're well resourced and continuing to work with this part. Is that right?
yeah, I mean it comes, yeah.
Good. Good. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad.
Yeah. So I'm happy to have worked on it today, in the sense that like every time I can see it more, I'm hoping to be able to integrate it more, or right, like I'm eager to keep seeing it, even though it comes with a lot of pain, right?
Get that, yeah. So in the IFS work, just because this is a teaching video, we don't talk about integration. What we talk about is fully witnessing the part, fully witnessing it with the compassion that you have. And then when it's been fully witnessed, we invite it to release the distress that it's holding, to take in what it needs. And then it's as if it's as if it no longer happened. You hold the memory of being in that room, but not the affect. Right? And then the protectors can fully relax because there's the part's no longer holding the distress. So that's how we would work with it in the IFS frame. And I get that you've got your own thing going on. So I'm just glad you got the support and the resources.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, I know that this little girl, right? Like, I know that this is going to be somewhat like, this is like a core,
Sure.
a core wounding. So like, I'm trying to be patient as well. Like, that's maybe my cognitive, but it's going to require some patience because, like, I like what you said today. There was a couple of really good things that you said. It is about seeing that part, right? It's about seeing her and honoring her and like getting her safe and like just seeing her, because she's like there in all sorts of small parts, like that. She, you know, I think on a deeper level, it's like I can call out for help and or I can set a boundary, right? And so like, that's, I don't know if I'm making sense, but like, we started by talking about me not, you know, being able to say what I need to say to that driver, right? And it's like always, Derek, like this fear, like I'm not going to get heard. Right. Someone's not going to respond.
Right. Right.
So, and this comes, you know, I'm very self-reliant. So like, it's an important piece of work. And I thank you today for helping me see her in this way. Because she is holding like a lot of pain and fear and concern, right?
Yes, absolutely. So here's the
and she is in my system, as you say, you know.
So here's the promise of the work, whether it's biosensory motor, which I'm not trained in, or whether it would be in IFS.
Yeah, both are. Yeah.
Once she's been released from the system.
Oh.
Yeah, once that's happened and all the distress has been released and she takes in what she needs, which is likely something like a sense of safety or something like that, safe in the world.
Or I'm going to get hurt, right?
Or I'm going to be, yeah, that's really important. I'm going to be hurt. And someone's going to come. Yeah. Then it won't feel as risky in those environments with the driving instructor. It will not feel as risky to say, hey, it's not okay that you talk to me that way. That will become available to you because this dynamic won't get triggered in your system. So that's where
which could be like, yeah, because what happens is, so I'm driving the car and like I go into tears, right? Like I got overwhelmed when I needed to say like, please don't, or I need you not to do that, ends up with like,
yeah,
like in my work and in my workplace, you know, I know we need to wrap up, but like I'm proud of myself in the sense that in the past, I would have maybe been overwhelmed by emotion and like, so something happened with a colleague. She's quite unfair actually. But like I was able to handle that in another way, right? Like where I didn't get so overwhelmed. And it, for me at that point, Derek, it was more just about like not engaging,
right,
and just stepping back and getting some space. But like the next step will be to be able to say what I need to say without that overwhelm. Like,
right. So one of your protectors has a strategy of stepping back, right? But then for other parts, that doesn't get their needs met in terms of being able to hold the boundaries. So
yeah, so it's a progress though, because in the past I may have just like crumbled.
That's great.
So it's like stepping towards being able to like have that part, yeah, understood and heard, and okay, yeah.
So before we wrap, Laura, I'm going to take a moment just to come back to some of those protective parts that allowed you in to do the work. So your thinking part, right, which is real strong. Just take a moment to thank it for allowing you to connect with this little one. the
Mhm.
embarrassed part that was willing to be in that bubble, right? So that you could stay connected with the little one.
Yep. I mean, that one there is like, to let that one not, like, that's tough.
Yeah, and
So
she did it.
that one did well today because it stayed on the outside, right?
Yeah, it did, and it was willing
Yeah,
to.
you had to work a lot with that one to get it like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just take a moment to thank it because it did that. It pulled back. Showed a lot of trust in you. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I want to thank your parts also for being willing to allow this to happen, for being willing to allow me to direct you and to help you to get to know this little one a bit better. So thank them all from me. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So as we're wrapping up, Laura, sorry, take a moment to do that. Yeah. Any other parts now with any comments about your work today? Any concerns or any questions?
I don't know what part it is, but there's like a little attached part that's like, it's kind of cool to be doing this with, right, with you, right? Because it's been years and years. So, what privilege, like what a wonderful blessing that we're here doing this. Like kind of a grateful part.
Got it.
I don't know if gratefulness is a part,
Yeah,
but
could be you.
eh,
Yeah.
like it's pretty wild when you think about it.
I'll put
But
a little preamble on the video so that folks
yeah,
who are watching this know that you and I have the kind of history that we have.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that would be it. Just that, like, what a privilege to be able to like do this work and to to have a to see that a bit more today. And yeah, I think everybody's cool.
Good. I'm feeling very moved.
Aw. Uh-oh. There's my embarrassed part.